Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to just talk to you about breastfeeding hormones, and not like I'm still breastfeeding and going through weird hormones. No, the weird hormones that happen when you stop breastfeeding. That's what I'm going to talk to you about today. All right, so I am 9 months postpartum, soon to be 10 months postpartum, and we've decided we're done breastfeeding. We being my child and I. So I'm going to keep looking down to make sure he's not getting into any trouble. But yes, that's what I'm talking about today. So we are officially done. I try to offer it to him for nap time as like a pacifier because, of course, that is what he uses me as. And I'm holding scissors because I have to keep them away from my child. Let me just put them down here without messing anything up. Okay. So I experienced my first bout of weird, not weird, but like I can notice a change in hormones starting a few months ago when our feedings went to just nighttime feedings. Like he would wake up to put him to sleep. And then when he would wake up in the middle of the night, I would offer it to him to get him to go back to sleep. He would have a little nibble. That was it. So no more offering every few hours. It was just like, I don't want to wake up and make a bottle. So here you go. I need to put you to sleep. Here you go. And he would take it and everything was fine. Other than I noticed like my periods started getting a little weird because my period came back like within the 4-month time frame after having him. So it came back fairly quickly, and it wasn't too erratic. It was pretty normal. Like I would get a period once a month. It maybe not every like 28, 30 days, but it would come once a month, and there would be a little bit more difficulty with getting it started. I could tell like my hormones there weren't quite normal, but it would still come. I wouldn't be spotting in between or anything. It would be like a normal-ish period. Not quite 100% back to normal, but I would say regular. If someone asked me, I would say regular. But when I went from every few hours to now just night times, I could tell it was a little bit harder getting it to happen, to have my period start. And I had 1 month where it, like, I bled for a couple days and then I spotted for a week after that. So that was kind of weird. That was more like when my hormones definitely started to shift, was that time frame. So, and then the other thing was like my sweat, my BO, not my sweat, but my BO started smelling different, like tortillas. Very weird. Like here mainly is where I noticed it, but also like down there in my bits. But yeah, even now, so that happened a few months ago, or a couple months ago, maybe like at least for a month, maybe even 2. But if I start moving around like a lot, I still kind of smell. So I'm not sure if that's my body getting rid of the hormones and that's how it's detoxing. I don't know. I have no idea. I'm just throwing it out there. I have no idea. But that is a weird thing. I smell different. One super weird thing that happened to me while I was going through this like initial shift where I started noticing the body odor and also the period changes, like the spotting. My smell. So when I was pregnant and had morning sickness, I went through an insane time with smell aversions. Like a spray on the ground, like a carpet cleaning spray that has a strong scent, would just send me heaving and throwing up. Like I could not stand smells. Like strong smells were repulsive to me, and I would be throwing up. And that was the first pregnancy out of 4 that I ever experienced smell aversions. And it went away after the first trimester, but it was so odd that when my hormones changed, when I began, weaning more, they came back, and mainly just my husband's deodorant. It was his deodorant that started smelling burnt, like gross. And it, mind you, this is the deodorant that I could just like, come here, can I smell your armpit, please? Because it's comforting and smells so good. And I just want to sniff it all up. That deodorant smelled horrible to me. And even kind of now, if I get a stuffy nose, it'll kind of still smell like off, but not like it did a month and a half ago. And it was weeks, like 2-3 weeks that it smelled like this. Bizarre. And all I can think of is hormones, because yes, I had COVID in August, and this all happened like beginning of December, I would say, late November, beginning of December. So I did lose my smell when I had COVID, and my smell had been off for a little bit, but it came back. And then for this to happen, I was definitely freaked out, like, oh my gosh. Why are you trying to crawl under the bed? I was definitely freaked out, like, oh my gosh, is my nose messed up because of COVID? And then it wasn't until I started experiencing some other things where I was like, no, this is hormones. And this reminds me exactly of those smell aversions I had from the pregnancy hormones in the first trimester. So very weird. Okay, now that I'm only feeding him, yeah, of course he's eating my camera, which I should be using right now because the quality on my computer is horrible. But I can't find my memory card. So that's why you get this quality, everyone. So now that we are done, I offer it, he doesn't want it. And that's good. Thank you. Woo woo. Now that I'm going through my next phase of like complete, I'm done. And so the hormones are definitely going. They're not like, oh, here's a little bit. Nope. Here's a little bit. No. Now it's done. I think my hormones are definitely shifting again because my hair finally, I say finally because this normally happens within the first 4 months. For me, it's always happened around the 4-month mark, 3-4 month mark. My hair, you know how your hair, I don't know if you know, you probably know. When you're pregnant, your hormones hold on to your hair. So the hair that you normally shed doesn't shed while you're pregnant. And that's why it gets nice and lush and beautiful and thick. And you're like, dang, dang, dang. Well, then when your hormones leave from pregnancy and go back to your normal hormones, all of that is like, okay, don't need it anymore. And so you begin to shed your hair. All of the hair that you've been holding on to, now it starts to shed. And now you're noticing, dang, I have a lot of shedding. So yes, my hair looks a little bit, I'm not doing anything to it. I try not to brush it too much. I'm trying not to put it in ponytails too much because it's just so thin right here. And I already have fine hair. So when I see, any change in my hair is super noticeable for me because I'm already like holding on to what I can hold on to for my body. And right now it's just like horrible. I don't want to dye it. I don't want to put it up in ponytails. I don't want to brush it too hard. But like when I do this, the hair just goes, ooh, I'll see a strand of hair fall. If I look down in the car from like putting on my seatbelt or moving around in the car, see right now I have one right here. I'm constantly, you can't see that, but I just pulled one off of my sweater right now. And all day long, I'll find a new hair, a new hair, a new hair. So I know that is normal. I'm trying not to freak out about it, but I'm definitely trying to baby my hair. And I can't wait until it stops falling out so much and goes back to a more normal routine. Okay, go back to a normal routine hair. Because yeah, it stresses me out thinking about my hair falling out. And then I'm like, how much is going to fall out? I don't have much more to go here. Okay. So that was one thing. So weird. So something that normally happens at like the 4-month mark for me didn't happen until I stopped breastfeeding. And we're at the 9-month mark here now. So 9 months. weird. Different, I should say. The other thing is I can tell that I'm able to drop weight now. If I go a couple days, like eating healthy, not overindulging, I can see that I can lose a pound or two, which is different from the other video that I posted about breastfeeding and not being able to drop any of the weight. So even when I had COVID and was super sick and in the bathroom, like for days, I didn't drop a pound. I was the same weight. My body was like, not letting go, not letting go, not letting go. Even if I ate healthy and tried to exercise, not a pound. So now that, yes, now that I'm done with breastfeeding, my body is like, all right, I'll let a couple go. So now when I can eat healthy, I can drop a pound or two, not super fast, but I can see the scale move finally. Like if I have bad days of eating, it goes up. If I have good days, it goes down, which before it was just steady at one spot no matter what I did. So that is a good thing. Okay, let me put you down. Okay, I have perioral dermatitis, which I do get hormonal like pimples around my period, but right now constantly the past few months I've just had like bumpy, dry skin, perioral dermatitis around my mouth. I'm having like this weird lip reaction, and the doctor thinks it's hypersensitivity to something, and I've had we did patch testing for chemicals and metals, so we know it's not that. So next step is food testing, and I've never been allergic to food before, so I have to figure out what that is because I haven't had this before. And then oily skin. This week my forehead is just hi. That's you. That's you. Yeah. Yeah, it is. So this week my hair is just so, not my hair, my forehead is so oily. So I'm just going through it, and it's normal, I guess, because my milk is going away and my body is trying to get back on track with its regular hormone system. So I'm just trying to nourish my body. One thing I read is that if you're trying to balance your hormones, up the protein. So I'm trying to make sure I get an adequate amount of protein each day. Yeah, it's so pretty, which is also beneficial for things like my hair and my skin. So I'm going to try to just focus on my diet and make sure I'm just eating healthy things, nourishing things, and making sure my stress levels are checked. So I'm trying to meditate and do yoga and just have a good outlook on life. Yeah. So that's it. What are your wacky symptoms of weaning and breastfeeding? You can post them below because, you know, it helps other parents, other moms that are going through this realize that their symptoms are normal and help them just relax as they go through the process of change. Just being able to relate to other women and know that they're not normal, they're not abnormal, not that they're not normal, you're totally normal. Yeah, it helps us know we're not crazy if we share our experiences. So go ahead and leave below your weird, wacky symptoms. And I'm going to get this little one to bed. It's nap time. All right. Bye, everyone. Don't forget, podcast episode. I'm going to release one soon. So check out the Turks and Chaos podcast. It's available anywhere you get your podcasts. So you can find me on Apple or Spotify or Anchor or wherever else you listen to them.